Hi everybody! Ooh, exciting! I can see a name there that I know. That's the Bounce of Blavers. That. Sorry, for those of you who don't know, that Glynis is a big member of the group, and she does some wonderful work. So yeah. So how is everybody? Hope you're all well. Weather's pretty bad at the moment, but we managed to get here safe and sound. So the live class. It's quite right. Start again. Take two. Hi everybody. Hope you're all well. Good morning. Hope you're nice and snug and warm where you are. We've got we got here safe and sound, but yeah, it's always exciting, and it's really exciting to show you what we can do with different things. Elements of what we get, and also to show you what you can do with it, because it can get a bit daunting when you get your package home and you've bought it and you think, what do I do now? So I've come up with some ideas, and we're going to get straight into it because you don't want to hear me waffle. And I'll just show you a couple of things. This is one that I did, but I've just used needlework. So again, think of all these as an add-on to what you've already got. So here it's all done. 2 colourways, but I've used beads and I've used wire work. So here's another one just in card. So that's just like the main element. And then I thought, which is what we're going to do today, is create like a card or a scene. Simply using whatever is here, just 2 colours. I've got some coloured pens and a few finger daubers and just you and your stencils. That's all you need. So this is, to me, this is when moodling really is taking that time for yourself, getting the shapes that you wanted, and then sitting down and drawing it all in. It really is great relaxation. So I've got my stencils, well loved, as you can see, and I have just gessoed this, and all I've done is got my quirky circles just to show you. I've got a little bit of gesso on, and I've just rubbed it over. So I'm using card, and I'm making sure that I'm using what I've got. I don't want to buy more stuff, I want to use what I've got. So what I've done is I've die cut about 3 or 4. Now it's not hard to see. Sorry, it is hard to see, but I know the camera work here is amazing. And I've just glued a couple together, just so I've left it a little bit open. So basically, it's just to give it a bit of substance if we're going in with some wet media. The colours I've got VersaFine black, and I'm using these 2 colours because I just think they're nice and bright, and they clash, which is good. Believe it or not. And I just think you can change the colours according, but it's also very easy just to confine yourself to 2 colours, because if you don't, it's like, what colour do I now? What colour do you use now? So let's get going with this. So when you look at some of the elements on these stencils, really look at them, you start to think, oh, I can see a pattern here. Oh, I can see that there. And that's the beauty of them, because there's so many patterns, so many different angles that you can come from. So let me get these out. So I've just got the ones I'm going to use today, otherwise I'm confusing myself. So I've got the flower one, I've got the leaf pattern one, the big flower one, and then what I call the worker bees. So I'm going to start with one colour, and I'm going to build up. So it's up to you. Like here we've got the oranges and stuff at the bottom and the blues at the top, but we could do it the other way. So we could try it the other way and make it like a daytime. So I'm going to do blues this way. So I'm going to look for the elements I like. So here I have got this element, which is a great for the tree. Oh, before I forget, I've also die cut the elements out so that if you do choose to, when you've done and you've got some, you can put the top on and you've got a really nice frame. That's if you want to. So I've got this area here. I quite like that, so I'll put that there. These are all going to be at the top, but I'll walk you through that. And then these are all going to be changed into hills as well. Okay, so you'll get the idea. So I'm going to get a light colour first, and I'm going to build the colours up. Oops, sorry. And I'm building the colours up because I don't want to get too much colour all at once. So I'm going to go with just a little. Now these are getting really dodgy. Oh, I'm using this cut and dry foam is Cadence. Just wanted to show you. It's fantastic stuff. Ink accessories. Oh, it's brilliant. Double laminated stamp pad foam. You get it from the website. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So here I'm just going to now that gesso, it creates what we call a ground. There we go. So I'm going to just place it back on and pull it down. And all I've done is just extended that. So we've got that. Looks like a nice, I'm going to maybe change that here. So play with your stamps, play with your dies, play with the different shapes you've got. Don't just think of it as one. Go for it and just add another shape. It's like looking at the clouds. You see all these different shapes and patterns. So I've got the two now. And bear in mind, if I've got a stamp, a frame going over that, it won't matter. So here, I'm going to add up a little more. So each end has got slightly different colour. So I can swap around. You can build all these up. It's about layers. You don't want to put too much on in the beginning because it just overpowers it. So here, I want this could be like a harvest. So I'm going to get this in now. And if I don't, it could sort of change it a little bit. So I need to make sure it's around here. So very lightly. Can you just see? I know you can hardly see it. I've just made sure I know where it is. Because if it doesn't look right, I can move it up. That's it. Right, so I've got another wiggly hill form here. I'm going to go in again. This time, there we go, a little bit darker. I'm not liking that, so all I do is go back in and add another shape. So I've got this undulating sort of style going on. And then I think I'll put the flower in there actually, because I think that'd look quite nice. I could put that there. Choices. This is what I like about them, because you see so many different things. Oh, here it is, here it is. This one here, this big leaf, makes a great hill, believe it or not. Right, now there's lots of things I'm going to be showing you in this outfit, but you may not see them all, but you will get the idea of how I finished it off, because some of these things, they take more than, an hour to do. But if I give you the general idea, then, Bob's your uncle. So I'm just going to place these back on and just darken them now. Just give them a little bit more shade. So blending colours, that's it. And prominence, right, there we go. I want that one quite dark there because this is right at the front. And when you're creating depth with inks, the nearer it is to you, the darker it'd be. It creates sort of this idea that it's nearer, larger. Right, so it looks a bit mad at the moment, but yeah, that's fair enough. So now I'm going to get the top part. So the top part is where I turn everything round. So we've got this big leaf there, which is the one I've just used. We've got the leaf that we used as the hill. We've got these as well. Now these, it can be used that way or that way, and we've got these branches. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at it and think, right, okay, yeah, I've sort of want the sun there. So I'm going to bring in the sun. I'm going to do it in a bit of an orange. So there's a couple of suns you can use. You can use any of these as a sun if you wish. Or you can use the one like that as a sun. or the one like that. Now I quite like that one because I think it just gives it that certain something else, a bit different. I'm going to do that in the other colour so that it creates like a sunset. So I'm only using 2 colours, but I'm using a range of colours within that. So you might look at it and think, hang on, you said 2 colours. Well, yeah, but I'm using like light, medium and dark in 2 colours. So I'm going to go with Carved Pumpkin. Now, I'm just going to go really light at first. And I'm just going to go darker on one side. And then I'm going to put in these. So you can see just very bottom, give it a little bit of depth, pull the colour in. I'm going to go back. This is important, this. I'm going to go back to the colours and I'm going to bring in the peacock feathers into the bottom. So I've got that. Don't worry about these lines because you do want these lines. So, and you can always add more. So put these in. Just going to add, so that's it. And a couple more, okay, just like that to give it a little bit. It doesn't matter, you don't think, oh, I've done it wrong, I've got these marks, it really doesn't. So what I'm going to do is just here and just here, there are some little dots. So very lightly, you don't want to overpower them. It really doesn't matter if you think, oh, I've ruined the back. You can't ruin the background, honestly, because we make it up. So change your stencil around. There we go. Because we're making up this, we can make it any way we want. We can do anything we want. So we've got the basic pattern. We want to bring that sort of secretive, like we're looking through woods and we're looking out through forest and trees. And we're creating a little bit of atmosphere. So I'm going to use here, I'm going to use the darker one again, and I'm just crackling bonfire, it's called, I think, campfire. Just put that there. I can always add. Swap your stencil round, clean it if you wish. You know, you don't have to keep it all one way, directional. Use a lot of it, tiny bit of it, but all we need to do is just create the illusion of the trees popping in over here and there. Right, so we've got that. We've got the trees coming in. The branches now become really great trees. So I'm just going to pop that on the side. And this is where I'm really going to go quite dark with them because I want this to sort of overtake. And I'll show you what I do in a minute with that. It'll overtake a little bit more. It'll give it a bit more presence. And there's another one there with the little branches. So I'm just going to pop that one there. Just to fill that in, and then I'm just going to pop that up there with a darker one again. Now each time you're building up colour, you're best off to do layers. Now you can just about see them, but they will become prominent. So if you look, you can see how the depth is built up with pencils or whatever you've got. Some people might not have rusty hinge, that's that one. Some people might not have pencils, some people might not have inks. So each step can be done with whatever you've got. So we've got this, you need to give it a waft. And if you want to, you can create, all this was embossing or embossing powders and things, but I'm just going to give it a quick waft. Brilliant. Not a lot. You just need take that edge off it. So now what we've got is a blank canvas. So we're now going to do what we love doing, and that is modelling. So you can see now we've tidied it all up. But how do we create this depth? It's so easy. I'm not going to be able to do it all, but I will show you a little bit. I've got coloured pencils. You choose your coloured pencils, that what you've got. So I'm just going to, oh, come on now. Where's the other one gone? There it is. And I'm just going to go with those three for the bottom. And then, now, if you've got masses of pencils, the problem with it is you've got too many choices. So sometimes less is more. Right, so I've got my pencils. Tidy up, she says. Right, so keep that there. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring definition to the front. Now, because the gesso's on and the ink's on, with paints as well, this creates like a really good, what we call ground. So here, I'm going to make this really stand out. And all I'm going to do is just colour it in. So I'm colouring this one in. And I'm doing really light colouring in. I don't want to overdo it. I want it still to be seen, but I'm now giving it a little bit of depth. So we've got that, so we can see this happening here. So here, I'm just going to do the middle. Now this is really simple. All you do is you press. Now I want to show you something. You need muscle memory, and muscle memory is really easy, and all it is that your body remembers how to shade, and this is how you practice. Very, very heavy, very, very heavy, lighter, 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 till it's invisible. And the reason you do that is that you remember how much pressure you've put on that to get it like that. So in essence, you'll be able to just go and build up colours, because your memory in your muscles remembers how much you need. So here I'm just going to do the middle, and I'm just going to build up the middle part. I'm not colouring into the end. If you've got watercolours, you could use watercolours. I'm going to use the darker one now. Now, you don't have to do this at all. If you choose not to, that's absolutely fine as well. If you want to get a paintbrush and add a little bit of ink to your desk and add it that way, that's even better. It's entirely up to you. I just want to show you how we're going to create this atmosphere of like a farmyard or something like that. So I'm just going to do a little line through here, and I'm just going to follow it to there. Can you see? So I don't want that line like that because it's overpowering. So I'm going to blend it in a little bit with what we've got here. So actually what I'm doing is creating my own little patterns, and I'm building my own patterns to go together so that it's very personal. So here we've got that. I quite like this, so I'm just going to put a little bit there. And you can see the paper coming through. Sorry, it is me moving it all around. Right, okay. Now, just behind here, that's darker there. So if I do that, can you see it's now made it pop out again? Don't do too much, because we've got pen work to do. So, to me, you do all this, you mess about, that's what I call it, and then you sit down and do what we're going to do next. So, well, in a minute. The next thing is I'm going to use my colours. If you've not managed to get a halo effect, do not worry, honestly, do not worry, because it's easily done by just adding a little bit of yellow to it. Don't worry, you're shading, because shading can be done with pencils, it can be done with light, it can be done with paint, it can be done with anything. So use all this equipment all together. So I'm just going to put that on there. And just this bit here, I'm just going to go quite dark. And just See how we've got that nice halo effect. And then here, these are going to be the darkest, so any bits that are missing or I've not done right, I can now put. Now this is where, if you choose, you can join the lines up, and I don't always do that, but I thought it was important to share that because I thought some of you may want to. There we go. So just putting that in, and I'm really enjoying it. It's not like I'm sat here, I'm not enjoying it, I really am. And in the background, I'm going to use a lighter pencil just to follow these shapes. So we've got these here, we've got these here. Yeah, it's looking okay, but let's look at what the difference is between that one and that one. And don't forget our little frame, you know, makes a huge difference on there. So I've got my pens, and I've got coloured pens, and I can't tell you how much I love them. Oh, I love them, I love them. So we've got glitter pens in blue, green, yellow and gold, well, orange. And I've got an 8, a 5 and a 3. So why do we need different pens create different pen lines? So if I want something nearer to me, it's going to look thicker and darker. If I want something far away, I use a finer nib. So a finer nib would be a smaller number. The bigger nib is a bigger number. So I'm using a number 8, and where it's at the front, all I'm doing is moodling. And moodling is when you just sit, you wiggle your toes in carpet if you can. You just sit and allow yourself to just follow the lines, draw in them, draw around them. And we're creating like an outline for this. But while we're doing it, we're actually really relaxing. Now you may be sort of, when you first see the stuff that I've brought out, think, what? What's all that about? But actually, once you start to see how you can build it all up, it starts to make sense. And it's like I'm giving you a lot of ingredients and you create your own recipe. So these are all the ingredients, and you know, you want to make it a stew, you make it a stew. Stew weather, isn't it? What am I waffling on about? But you know what I mean. You get the idea that, you know, I'm just giving you ideas, not necessarily a finished way of dealing with them, because I want you to do that. I really like the idea that it's yours, not mine. So here all I'm doing is remembering I've got a circle coming out there, so I don't really have to do them. And anything in the front that I want to make dominant or stronger is going to be done in the darker pen and the broader pen. And again, so I'm just going to put in that line there, which has got a bit of a wobble on it, and then this like can be a fence, it could be fence panels, it could be a grill, it could be a gate. It's actually drawn from the skeleton of a leaf, but it's entirely how you use it directionally as well. If you change the direction of something, it gives you a different feeling. You know, when you look at the clouds and that. And if you can pick up a pen or a pencil or a mouse, you can do this, because you can do it the same on a computer. If you wanted to scan this in, or Minecraft Studio, and you can draw with it, jobs are good in. So you could have the gate there. Here I'm having like a pathway. And I think this really goes hand in hand with Red Robin, not as in the style, because I think that's unique, but in the idea of you building up stories that go with your work. I think it's quite a quite a thing that runs throughout, that all these create themes and ideas and your own little stories, and again, it could be for anything, could be any celebration or any, sentiment on here as well. But yeah, I often listen to Steph when she's doing hers about the little stories, and you get sort of caught up in it, don't you? Well, that's good, because then you're not worrying about all the other stuff. So there we've got that building up. You can see now it's starting to build up. Here, I think I'd need something. I'm not too happy with this. So the best bit is to get, if you're going to use a word, then it'd be like sticking a butterfly on it, if you get me. So there's no right or wrong way. These could be rocks. They could be little pools. Here, this is like behind the gate or whatever it is, and this is the sort of hillock. But I'm not actually drawing anything extra. I'm just drawing what's here. Right, so now what I'm going to do is just put that 8 away, and I'm going to get a 5. And the 5 is finer. And I'm going to continue now, but I'm going to do a finer line. And this gives the impression of it being further away. So just putting the finer lines in. You do need a permanent ink pen, because sometimes if you're using sort of non-permanent ones, they can bleed. However, putting the gesso down really does help. So here I'm just going inside. Another thing you can do is get the stencil back on and draw in the stencil. So have the stencil there and draw in it, and then that way it's neater. But I don't actually think it really matters. I quite like it softer like this. So here, finer line. And I'm going to see if I've got a really fine one, and if I have, this is nearly invisible. Can you so you just really, really like that. So anything at the back, can just be very lightly outlined. And then I'll put that line in there to make it like a horizon line. And then I'll bring these out here. There's another one there. Just because it looks like a leaf doesn't mean it has to stay looking like a leaf, especially with colour. Put some pattern on it. So there we've got some sort of, you can see here it's dark, I'll build that up. We're going to go now with the sun. Now the sun, you can do several things with this if you want. I'm just going to use my very fine pen, and I'm going to use pointillism. So what's pointillism? It's small dots. And I'm using a very fine pen, and I'm building it up. Now you could use a pencil or anything else. A ballpoint pen will do. And what I'm going to do is just bring a little bit of depth or darkness by shading to this edge. And hopefully you start to see it. So I can afford, this is where you can afford to do smaller dots nearer. There. I tend to sort of switch between them all so that it gradually blends out. So, see? Can you see that now, how it's given that tiny bit of depth? And I'm going to do the same here, because I've not actually outlined these yet. And you don't have to. So I'm showing you that you could use the dots if you wish, or outline them. It's entirely up to you. But you get so much satisfaction from just chilling. When I was on TV doing it, I know I was with Dan, And we were both like just forgetting that we were on TV and just playing, and that's what it's about. And the next one's coming out, all work with these as well. Right, okay, so I've got some depth there. I think that does need a little bit of depth. So if you want to, you can create more depth by just adding one area or one line. So if I show you now with doop-a-doop-doop-doo, this one. So you can see it's created that side, and I'm just going to, where it's dark, really increase the depth there. Okay, so we've got that sun. So I'm really liking this now. I'm going to swap up to this, making it finer. Now you can swap pens as well. I used a green one then, it looked really nice, but I didn't plan on that. But so it really doesn't matter. And then we put these. I'm trying to remember what there was a book when I was a kid, and it's always stayed with me. And it was like a white blank book, and you got a paintbrush. And all you did was you dip your paintbrush in the water, and then you added it to your page, your blank page on your book, and all these pictures would appear. Oh, and I really did believe in magic. I thought that was magic. And I still, even now, there's something magical about how things can just appear off the page when it's just a blank page. I still get a great buzz about that. You make something look 3D or... So can you see I've built that up now? We just need a few here, but that could be like birds. I've only done one. So I've got the coloured pens now, and I want to show you the difference. I'm using the orange, and I want to show you that if you've got your gel pens or your marker pens, the Craftmaster pens work brilliantly with this. If I just put and wiggle, can you see how bright and shiny that is? See if I can get the wiggle right. I'm rubbish at this, aren't I? Put some more on. There we go. Lovely. So I'm going to put a little bit of gold in now, just to, and this will really pick it up. And then, believe it or not, I'm going to put a bit of green in. And the reason for that is because it's already within the picture itself. It won't look out of place. It'll look part of it. And I'm going to put it where the darkness is. And you see now, and then you get all those glitters. Oh, you can just see there. Stunning, love it. So what I'm going to do is build up a bit of light now. So on the edges of anything where I need on here. So anything that's in the forefront, I can add a bit of orange too. So you're creating light with the colour. So you don't have to be neat. You're almost like drawing a highlight, but using a coloured pen. And I'm not trying to cover up what I've already done. I'm trying to add to it, so you can start to see all the sparkle that happens. And I'll put the blue on now and some green, and it just pops out now. So here, let's go with... I want to put some blue here, so And the reason I'm doing dark down here is because I want it to still be like in the foreground, so it's still going to be dark. But I put the blue and green together just to give it a bit more depth. You can see now it's adding, I love adding colour like this because I just think it's not finished without a bit of glitter. It's got to have it on. It's got to. It's the law. So add a bit wherever you want. Like I've not got enough colour down here, so add a bit more there. I'm just going to add a bit there. You can even put a bit there if you want. So I'm looking now, and we need some dots in the background there. So they're the green ones, some blue ones, and then just add in a little bit of colour there, and then I'm going to go in with the gold, and I'm just going to put smaller ones and larger ones on here. So here. So I'm not sticking to the shape, the size, sorry. Here, I'm going to get a very fine pen, and I'm just going to do the lines so it looks like it's radiating out. And then it needs a bit more colour, so we get our pencils again. So you can see how very little effort. I mean, I've not spent too much time. I've used the products the way I want them used, just to give me a start, and the rest is me using the products I've got. If you've got the Craftmaster pens, they work brilliantly with it. So here, I said I didn't really like that bit. And this needs a little bit more as well, because I've not got... So what I'm going to do, just there, I'm going to get that pen again, and I'm just going to put some dots in there, just to give it a bit more depth. So I'll do it this way and show you. Dots are brilliant, put dots everywhere. And it's just very easy to shade with dots. It's a lot harder to shade with a pencil. So I want a little bit of line there, so I'm going to drop a tiny bit of colour in it. Not a lot. And you see how it's just took that down now? So we've got this great scene happening. We've got all these like great ideas. We've got colours matching and clashing, and I don't know, it looks very different to the feel of that one. You know, this is a cool, cold, this is a lot warmer, like summer's coming. And I'm just going to put, just on here, like the sun is shining on top of these. And then I'll stamp out the other stuff. So like the sun is just touching, waking up. And I'll wiggle the card in a minute just to show you. Put a bit of light on there as well. So simple. It really is. It's all about you enjoying it and not pulling your hair out because you don't know what to do with it. I'm just going to do this bit here because I think I've lost it a little bit. There we go. So I really like that. I'm just going to tiny little holes. Not holes, circles, not holes. Almost like a sky heating or birds or anything like that. If you want to put bird in, just put a wiggle like that, like a tick. Okay, so we've got that. So what I need to do now is think, I want a word on that. I've got my frame. So what I'm going to do is, I've got Be creative. I think that's such a cool word. So quite like that. So, you know, blink and you'll miss this. So you can do it the colours of this if you wish, or I'm going to show you a bit of a cheats way if you haven't got all the coloured papers that you want. So I'm going to just do, yeah. I am terrible for stamping. Terrible. I just stick it on my fingers. Sorry. Right. I have lots of room around it because I create such a mess when I'm stamping. Perfect. No, it's not. I've not done that properly there. Turn it over. I'm not wasting it. That's me not inking. It's certainly not the stamps. Right, there we go. Perfect. So I'm going to use the oranges and stuff that I've got. Chop that down. You can use one of your stencil, your quirky or your die cuts from your quirky tags to go on here. And I'm just going to put, oh no, let's go with, I think that's it, isn't it? No, there's no on that. Don't do what I've just done. Wait till it's dry. But never mind. I'll get a little bit of the dark one. Sorry, I'm going right over here. That's better. So, just go in around the edge. Be creative. Doesn't matter if it blobs her out because that's it. So then what I'm going to do, I might even chop that down a little bit more. Get another piece of card. Yep, that's not bad. And then this time you go in with the greens. And then what happens is, you see, because you might not always have the same colours. You might have lots of white paper, but not lots of coloured paper. So it doesn't matter. You make the colours and the paper all fit together. So I'm just going to put a blob. Or you could, no, I'm not. Where has it gone? There it is. A little bit of foam tape. That's the one I wanted. I think it needs a little bit more. So, yeah, that's much better. Just wiping it in. And that's really concentrating that. But you should leave it to dry. You shouldn't do that. And then that on there. Do the same. Don't have to, you can cut the tags out like I said, or do your own thing with them, but I quite like creating a little bit more depth. Lightly dragging them over gives it a little bit more. That's it. So, stay to me. Ah, that's perfect. Now, you can have them off, whatever, kilter, whatever you want to call it. Or you can have them straight. Oh no, I'll check first. So do I want it there, there, there? You know, be creative, whatever you want. So get our, no, it's that way, I think. Ah, that's the way. Right, so I'm going to leave that to one side. Take that off. I know that fits like that. So now what I'm going to do, you don't have to do this. This is just the last bit. I'm just using the darker colour at the bottom, lighter colour at the top. Well, it doesn't really matter. You just, as long as you know how your frame sits together. So you can have the frame sort of the same colour way as that, or do it the opposite. So I'll show you what I mean. Bring your two colours together because you're going to get a nice blend there. So here, put that on there. We've got the opposite which creates a bit of atmosphere. I think I need something here. So what I would do is perhaps you could use your stamps there. You could get the dots. I quite like using these. Let me get the orange, she says. If it doesn't show through. No, get the green on it. Yeah, that's it. So just use the patterns that you've got to go around a little edging. It's just being selective. You don't have to use everything, like the whole part of it. You could just use little parts of it. That works really well as well. Like that. Get me? And then up here, maybe just these little bits. I don't want too much of that. So I might put, yeah, that's it. And the reason you do this is because you want some sort of correlation. So you want it to sort of not match exactly, but you want it to have something that brings the whole thing together, whether it be the colour or the pattern or whatever you want. So let's have a quick look. So if I have it like that, that's the opposite way. So you bring in, you know, your eyes, or I could do it that way. And it's entirely up to you which way you want to do it. I think it's lost like that. Or I could just do it white if I so wished. It's entirely up to you. But because I've got really mucky fingers, I don't think that'll work for me. So all I'm going to do is wet glue, and I'm just going to run it. Because don't forget that, you know, when you start with glue, you're going to need water resistant pens and stuff, otherwise you can easily smear it. So I'd always try and give myself 5 minutes for it to dry, or dry it with the heat gun. So I'm going to go for the opposite way. Then doesn't matter if it doesn't sort of fit. I'm going to get one that I've already done. When I get it right, giving it a wiggle. And then you can see that, you know, I got loads of ideas, and that was the ideas when I was coming up with this. I thought that would look really cool, but then I needed different colours, but this was my favourite colourway. It just looks so cool. Right, so I've got that. Don't forget you've got your words as well, which may or may not need to be cut down. Or, you know, it's quite nice. But then a little trick is to get the dark pencil. I'm using a dark blue. And I'm just going to go with the darkest turquoise I've got, and the indigo, and you can just see how it creates that shading, and it's like a vignette. And it's not hard to do, it's just very easy, but it really does polish your finish. It polishes everything off. So again, muscle memory. Do you remember when I spoke to you before about muscle memory? This is where it really does help. So here, so I'll show you on the back what I'm doing, okay? Just so you get the idea. So I've got the line. Let me draw something for you. Yeah, so there's the line. I'll do it dark so you can see. And I'm going and the easiest way to do it is by using your pencil in a shading way. So if we say writing, drawing, shading. And why do I mean that? Well, we're using the full length of the graphite and it just is a lot easier, look. And I'm not too heavy, I'm just putting it lightly on the edge. Whereas doing it the other way, you create too much pressure. So I'm just going to go where I was there. Where's that pencil gone? And I'm using this pencil and I'm using it in a shading way. Pulling the colour out. Concentrate, colour out. And I hope there's like lots of little techniques here, quite a few. And I hope that as you've been watching me do this, you've picked a few up thinking, right, okay, I could use that in other stuff. I just don't want you to think that, you know, this is the only place you can use this. No, you can use it all over, all your work. You can use it in your scrapbooking. You can use it in your journaling. These are all tricks that you can use with not just my collection, with all the collections. It's a really universal sort of set of techniques. It's like having a tool bag. So bring him out a bit. And the nice thing is, can rub this out if it's a bit much. So I've created what we call a vignette or a halo. And then it gives it more depth. Having that outline that I can sit to stops me going over it. So I'm just going to build that up. And then I'm going to go in really light, really near the edge. Give it a little bit of welly. I'm looking at that now. I can see that this needs some work. And it's really simple to do. And I'm just going to go around it with one, I think. I'm not going to bother with two. So just going to get this. Or I could. Or depends on what you want to do. Yeah, I think I might use orange on the bottom. I don't want to sort of change it now I've done this. So you just get all those wobbly edges. Well, yours might not be wobbly. You might be a bit less wobbly than me. But if there's any bits that you don't want to cut off, or there's little bits sticking out, this is the best way to get rid of that white, what we call a white haze. And when you put these two together, you get this lovely green. And that really is a lovely colour in its own right. There we go, we've got that nice haze coming through. Let me check this out. Does it need to be a little bit smaller? And then this is where we sort of look like it there. So stick one down. Do one it off there. Do one it there. I like it there. Do one it. Sorry. Plonk. Right. Now, before I do that, let me get my pencil on it. And the reason I'm doing this is because the pencil's already on here. This is a different paper, and all I'm doing there we go. So we've got that round there. Come on. What's up? Stick it. You know what? I'm terrible with this sticky stuff. Just get... You see, you can have it on wonk if you want. Like that. But that's not me. So... That's me. So I'm going to get my orange pencil. And I'm just going to do a little bit of colouring in on one corner. There. A little bit of colouring in on the other corner. Okay, then the last bit is, this is another bit of the moodling where it all sort of comes together. Is let's get some, let's go with three little dots there, and then on here, three little dots there, and you can just see how, hopefully catch that. how it all glistens. And then I think we need 3 here. This is where you get carried away, right? This soap. And I'm just going to put in, don't have to do that. I think I'm just going to put in a few more there. So basically what we do now, well, what you do is you look at what you want at the background. Do you want it on a black card? Do you want it on anything? Look at the state of that. But if I was to put that on black, you can see how much that jumps out. But that doesn't have to be a card. That could be anything. That could be a calendar for next year. It could be even, you know, I've got some metal here that I could die cut elements out and put the metal on. I could put, this is another one I'm going to do where I've got some paints and I've painted it on, and I'm going to do some felting on it. So see this as a, like I say, a big pot of ingredients that you then just sit, take your time. I'll show you some of the others I've just started, not finished. I'm ready to start doodling. You know, one day I'll pick stuff up and do it, and the next day I'll put it down. Don't matter to me. And then here's a square version. You know, so the square one looks just as nice. Or square elements. So it's not just about doing card making or anything. It's about using all the skills you have and putting it together with your materials like the beading, like the card making and that. So I know what else I need. Right, I need to come over here because otherwise now I always do odd numbers. So, and I'm putting the same colour on the same colour, and the reason is it's not too heavy then. Colour on colour is, tonally it looks much nicer. Right, this is like, stop, no, I can't stop. Have to, once you pop, you can't stop. I need a bit of bloom. Well, I hope that this has given you some ideas about, you know, perhaps things that you can do with your stuff rather than just, you know, doing one thing. You mix and match, do them all, look at them different ways, look at how your stencils can create different parts, make different things, like the stitching here, just on one of the stencils, that it just looks like stitching, and yet you look at it there and it looks a little bit lost. And the easiest way, before I forget, I hope I've got time, I don't care, I've got time. If you want to stitch it, this is so easy. If you want to stitch it, this is my little sample. I have a little sample book when you're doing this, it's really handy. And all you do is get a coloured pen. And this is just so easy. And then just get them. And all you need to do when you've done it, you can see here, is just drawing the lines. And it's all done for you. So all I do is little French knots there. And I do a stem stitch there. And I've got all my patterning, so that's how this works. So I really hope that you've enjoyed that. I've loved it. I've made a mess. That means I've enjoyed it, but I hope it's given you ideas about how to use different elements. You've got some magazine publications coming up using Moodling in the new year, and I've got some great new ones to build up on this coming up now. So yeah, it's really exciting that people are getting on board and taking time for yourself. That's what it's about. And Martin said this is the sort of thing that you pick up when you've made all those cards that you've got to make and those things. This is for you. So yeah, I feel like I've totally indulged now. The only thing is, I just so chilled, can't get off my chair. But yeah, so a big thank you to Andrew because he's been superb. I hope I haven't sent him to sleep. And thank you to everybody that's been, and I really hope you enjoy it. And as again, thank you. You've been wonderful. We'll be sending the link out in the next few days so that you'll be able to rewatch this, you know, turn the sound off if you want, even better. But yeah, so don't look out for the link. They'll send it you. It'll either be Create and Craft or Highlight Crafts. They'll send you an email with the link in, and then you can, you know, repeat and watch it if you want and put it in your little library. So yeah, look out for that in the next few days. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do, because I really do love seeing your work. And come along onto Facebook and everything and show us what you do. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. And I've loved it. So I'm going to get my white glitter pen now and I'm going to go all over this. But yeah, maybe not. So thanks very much. Bye-bye.